Hello and welcome to Gauntlet Hangouts. I am your GM Jesse, and today we are playing the John Harper Star Warsian game Magister Lor. I am here at the virtual table with a great group of players who I'm very excited to introduce you to. I'm going to go around the table and have everyone say who they are playing, and then we will jump right into the action. So starting with you, Jim, can you tell us a little bit about who you are playing?
I'm going to start by apologizing to everybody watching on video for the fact that my camera is down in the corner of my computer here, which means you're all going to get to look at my huge hand and knuckles for the entire game. But I will be playing Magister Lor, the last guardian of an ancient sanctum where demons of old are bound in a crystal prison. So we're, of course, going to play to find out who we are and exactly what is going on. But one of the things that's important about Magister Lor's character, one of his keys is the key of balance. I'm a guardian of balance. What must be, must be. It matters not how I feel about it. And I turn that key when I put balance above all other concerns. So there's going to be a lot of talk about duty and things I would rather, and if I had my druthers, but I just don't. And so we'll see what the limits of that are. I think is going to be the fun thing for me to find out when we play.
Nice. And next we have Alex. And Alex, you are playing Kai Tuvari. Can you tell us a little bit about Kai?
Well, Kai, as you know, a young adult whose blood is connected to the essence of the stars, apprenticed from childhood to Magister Lor. So, you know, as always, play to find out exactly what the relationships are, but my current idea is that, like, with Magister Lor being ill and all, there's, like, a lot of pressure on Kai to be this next guardian, to, you know, trying to decide whether to follow in the footsteps of this wizened old person or do what they want, really.
Nice. Forge your own path, as it were.
Forge my own path.
Yeah, nice. Cool. And lastly, we have Lauren playing Kel Tuvari. Can you tell us a little bit about Kel?
Yeah, well, especially like Alex, I'm so excited you're going with that angle because I think it's going to play off really well with what I have in mind for Kel. So Kel is a young adult touched by darkness, bound by secret oath to the demon Setarra. And I think, like, I really want to not lean too heavily into that trope of, like, sad emo kid with demons. So, like, I kind of want to invert that and have Kel as someone who, like, felt a bit disfranchised by not having an apprentice, by not having a master. And sort of, like, just when it was a bit, like, drifty, like, kind of unhappy. And now that they've found Setarra, like, they're real happy and, like, feel really content with sort of, like, their place in the world. And I think that Kel's going to try and push on Kai in that sense to be like, no, you, like, trust me, like, you need to, like, do your thing and be happy and, like, not, like, give in too much to this pressure and stuff. This is way too much pressure for you. Just come and be happy in the dark side. We've got cookies.
The devil of convenience, as it were.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
Totally.
I love it. Cool. Normally in a game of Magister Lor, there is a fourth PC, which would be Setarra. But Setarra is going to be an NPC in this game, so I will be representing her, and we'll see how scary that gets. I don't know. Okay, great. So let's start with the customary opening crawl. Magister Lor is the last surviving member of the Strelai, an ancient order of mystics that imprisoned the demons who cast the world into the sky. The Magister has secretly trained a young apprentice, Kai Tuvari, in the occult art of sorcery, because Kai's blood is bound to the essence which lights the sky star and gives life to the worlds. Only the discipline of sorcery can control this power. However, Magister Lor is not the only one with a secret apprentice. The demon Setarra, imprisoned in the essence crystal which powers Lor's sanctum, has visited Kel Tuvari, Kai's twin, in dreams, whispering dark promises and extracting dire oaths. Magister Lor chose not to train Kel as a child. The power in Kel's blood was too dark and dangerous to ever draw out safely. But Setarra, had other plans. Even now, Kel has crept down to the lowest level of the sanctum and completed the ritual to release Setarra from her crystal prison. The demon emerges, singing the song to summon the great leviathans from the lower depths. Will the Magister stop the leviathans from dragging the crystal into the depths? Will Setarra free the rest of the demons from their prison? Will the twins turn on each other or betray their masters? Why were the demons imprisoned? Does anyone remember? Can enemies change their beliefs? Or are duty and vengeance the only way? And with that, we open on the scene of Kel encountering Setarra as she emerges from her crystal prison. Lauren, since Kel is there, what does Kel see? How does this scene present itself?
Oh gosh, I have to describe what it looks like after we've just summoned a demon?
Yes.
Oh,
no pressure.
Yeah, oh geez.
Well, can we just start with what Kel looks like?
Sure, we can start there.
Oh yeah, totally. I think Kel, looking at Kel, you'd think that she's quite prim and together and wouldn't like to get her hands dirty. Like, I think she looks quite delicate, and has sort of like dark curly ringlets. But in reality, she's like this real like athletic, will throw herself at anything and will bounce off the wall as many times as possible before she gets hurt, kind of thing. So yeah, I think that's kind of what Kel looks like. And I think you can kind of get like behind her eyes is that fiery passion of like, just give me all the things. I just want to do all the things and stuff.
Nice.
So I kind of feel like it looks like we're in this sort of rocky catacomby kind of place, right? Like it looks a bit underground in these caves. And I think we can definitely feel the damp, moist quality in the air, and the rocks are like kind of shiny and stuff, and they're reflecting this amber red glow of the ritual as it sort of dies away. Like perhaps you sort of get glyphs and stuff that Kel's had to not carve into the rocks, but like sort of imprint into the rocks, and they're sort of like fading as everything's like settling, lots of like ashy stuff like flying around in the air. And I think like you sort of like, I think that it smells like brimstone and fire mixed with like the smell of moss and life. I think that's sort of like the imagery I'm going for.
Nice, that's great. So I think when you complete this ritual and this brimstone odor starts kind of seeping through the space, there is a crack and a shatter as the crystal prison begins to open up. You see a hand start to emerge from the crystal itself, and Setarra doesn't quite step out, but almost wafts into the space, following along with the brimstone. She is cloaked in darkness, and every time you look at her, you almost can't quite see her. It's like you're always seeing her out of your peripheral vision, like she's never quite there. But along with the smell of moss and brimstone, there is an undercurrent of salt water. And this is how you know that she is connected to the demons of old, because they have emerged, or they are living or trapped essentially in the lower depths and are connected to the depths themselves. Magister Lor, you know at once that something is wrong. but you are unable to do anything about it. What is the illness that keeps you bound and makes your existence difficult?
Because I am a sorcerer and I contain the starlight, it has infused my entire body. And the problem is that I'm literally like burning up. Like my body can't contain it. And so I think I walk around most of the time swaddled in like dark bandages, like wrapped like a mummy, with like like a shroud over my eyes. And like if I turn in a certain direction and there's like, you can just see like a tiny bit of like a little seam of light will like seep out from between the bandages. Mostly what I have to do is kind of sit unmoving in a pitch black room that kind of keeps it tamped down. And so anytime I'm out in the light and moving around, I'm just literally just burning up. And it's everything that I can do to kind of contain it and keep myself from just exploding in like a nova of light and ceasing to, and just going off to whatever, join the stars or something like that.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. I love it. Nice. So in this same moment, Kai, you are awoken by something. Something jolts you up. But it is less the emergence of Setarra and more the fact that you know that Kel is in the same space as you. How do you know that?
I feel like maybe back in the old days when me and Kel were kids, there was an accident with some magic that left Kai scarred, like a burn mark running up their arm. Like the essence like exploded back at them. And whenever Kel's near, there's like a slight ache in that hand. That's
Nice.
like the tell.
Cool. That's so good. So you feel this aching in your arm as you know that your sister is here. Do you seek her out on your own, or are you inclined to grab the Magister as well?
I think I'll seek her out on my own, but like as I'm shutting the door, I'll be like, going to see Kel now. Good luck.
Great. So Magister, so Kai essentially says, my twin is here and I must go. And clearly this is a problem for you as you have had previous exposure to Kel's internal torments. Why were you unwilling to take her on as your apprentice?
I think because I couldn't have two apprentices. I could only have one.
Okay.
And I think that there was, when I saw that Kel had that darkness inside them, I don't know that. I can't guide them in that. I think I kind of knew that they would find their way to the demon. But if I'm going to have a powerful apprentice, there needs to be an apprentice of the dark to balance out my apprentice of the light.
So do you feel like you it almost sounds like you were not quite setting a trap, but at least preparing for this eventuality.
It's not that I prepared it. It's just that I didn't stand in the way of it
Because of the balance.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, any big effort I made to try and prevent this would just cause misery as the balance forcefully asserted itself. So I took on the apprentice that was best suited to me and played my role. And now we're going to see how the balance works itself out.
Nice. Great. So Kai is hustling down the stairs to see is Kai male or female? What gender? What pronouns would you like?
Yeah, it's all with she, her. Why not?
She. Okay. So Kai is rushing down the stairs to meet her sister. And as you are descending, you smell the brimstone, you smell the moss, you smell this sense of life kind of permeating this kind of rancid odor. And when you get to the bottom chambers, you see your sister standing there. What do you do?
Yeah, I think like as soon as I see her, I'll be like, Kel, what are you doing here? I didn't hear you were coming.
Oh, I wanted it to be a surprise. How are you? I took her for a hug.
Yeah, of course.
And at this moment, Kai, the thing you didn't notice was that there is a demon that has just emerged and is standing behind your sister. And in kind of the distraction of having not seen your sibling for likely years at this point, this creature of claw and tentacle rises to greet you. Magister Lor, have you pursued your apprentice, or are you staying put?
So my apprentice, yeah, so my apprentice went running down the stairs to get down there. Looking at the diagram of my tower, or my, I'm going to call it a tower, even though it kind of is, it sort of descends into the sort of almost like to the depths as opposed to being something that rises out. But I walk over to I just kind of wave a hand, and the door to my room that I'm sealed in here just pops open and lets a little bit of light in. I blink a moment as my eyes become accustomed to it. I walk over to, there's like a crystalline, like a round crystalline window there that is like tinted like black. And I reach out a hand and I just kind of tap it, ting, and it irises open so that I can just see the outside, and I just step out, and sorceress winds kind of summoned up from, just sort of swirl around me and kind of flap the bandages a little bit and stuff like this and everything. And I have I picked up like a staff that I have that is it is a staff that is explicitly it's a piece of driftwood, like explicitly like a piece of driftwood you would find on like a seawater beach. that like doesn't exist anywhere, you know, kind of in the known world.
Yeah.
Or in the blue. Yeah. So and I take that and I hold it in my hand, and the winds just sort of just waft me down to where the crystal is kind of on that platform stuck out from the bottom of the tower. And so I think what happens is I just kind of come whisking in, and I sort of like settle down like right in front of the broken crystal prism, like on the other side of the demon. So like behind the demon's back there.
Oh my gosh, wow. Okay. So you make this descent, and did you think ahead to bring your sword with you, or did you leave it behind?
So when I touch metal, I can cause it to, or when I touch star metal, I can make it just like glow.
Okay.
And I think the inside of my staff is like it has a core of star metal.
Oh, nice. So the staff itself can become your blade.
The staff turns into a weapon that like the whole thing glows. I hold it like this and I do like staff fighting with it.
Nice. I love it. That's awesome. Cool. So if you have descended behind Setarra, that means that the individual who sees you first is Kai. Kai, it is your duty to keep the Magister safe, essentially, because he is the last of the Strelai, and he has suddenly landed right in the grips of this monstrous beast. Are you worried? What do you do?
Yeah, I think I'll... Can I see where this beast is looking? Is it still looking towards me and Cal?
Where what is looking?
The monstrous beast.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So, yes, Setarra has not noticed the Magister yet, but likely will very soon.
I think I'll try and, like, jump in front of Cal and say, look out! There's a monster! And I don't think I brought my sword with me, so I'm just, like, getting my fists out.
So, go ahead. Yep, I was just going to ask you.
Yeah, no, I think
what do you do?
Cal takes a like abrupt step back, because like monster doesn't code for her as like the tentacle thing she summoned. So I think she turns around, and looks past Setarra at Magister Lor, and can only assume like that like Magister Lor is the monster,
Oh,
or at least like points to attack, you know.
And so how do you, so Kel, what do you do if you see this bandaged ball of fire standing behind the creature that you freed, who is your means to power and happiness, quite honestly?
How big is the tower? Like, is this like a massive tentacles, or is this like a small amount of tentacles?
She's probably like 8 or 9 feet tall, so she doesn't like consume the space entirely, but you have a sense that she could, yes, on the scale of squid to Cthulhu, it is much more squid. She is much more squid than Cthulhu. Yes, good scale.
Ooh, yeah. Then I think Kel. I kind of like the image of like, I feel like Setarra can like hold her own and stuff, but I like the image of Kel like jumping in front of Setarra to sort of put herself between the Magister Lor and Setarra.
Nice. This does potentially expose your twin to Setarra, but are you at all worried about that? Like, what has Setarra told you already about kind of, has she done anything to influence your thoughts on your sister?
I feel like Cal comes from a place of Setarra genuinely, like, I don't know if like love's a strong word, but like Setarra like has Cal's best interest in mind, and I think that Cal would have confessed to Setarra how important Kai is, both like as a sibling and like a friend, and they have like a really strong bond. So I think for Cal thinks that Setarra would know that hurting her twin would be like a really big betrayal in that capacity. So I think that she trusts that Setarra's going to look out for her that way.
Okay. Do you also think that, like, do you see this at all as like a rescue mission for Kai? Like, are you here to save Kai from maybe an influence that you see as poisonous?
I mean, think so. I think like
you were rejected by Magister Lor, right? Like he flat out rejected bringing you on as his apprentice.
Yeah. And initially, like upon reflection, I can see why like Kel didn't pay attention in class and like had a really short attention span and like didn't want to learn and study and shit. So, but I think like now that she's had time to reflect upon it, I think she just doesn't have any respect for the Magister Lor and perceives Magister Lor as being like all talk and like no skill. Like if you were really this grand person, like why weren't you strong enough to have 2 apprentices? Like why are you taking this, you know, like why did you not even try? Like
right.
Yeah, so I think like for Kel seeing her sister after all this time, it's about finding out where Kai's head is at and then perhaps doing an extraction mission, or like I don't think she knows like exactly what the goal is here, but it'd be really cool if Kai didn't want to come along.
Nice. So so you step in between Setarra and Lor, and are you willing to make the first blow? Like, how dangerous do you think that Lor, this monster, is? And are you, like, how far do you go, essentially? You're muted if you're trying to talk, Lauren.
Sorry, I was just trying to take my keys, so I'm not like.
We can think of you can think about it for a second. Okay.
No, okay, I'll think about it.
Go ahead. If you have a thought, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think she does. Try and take the first blow. I think she's feeling like suspicious and paranoid of someone who would threaten Setarra, so she would.
Nice. So why don't you think about what you want to do for a second? And Magister Lor, I want you to think about for a second what you want to do. And I actually want to ask Kai, are you aware of the fact that your sister was rejected by Lor? Like, were you privy to that knowledge, or is this something that you don't know about?
I feel like Kai was privy to this knowledge, because it would have been like a "please come with me," you know, we could train together thing going on. And so I feel like that's like a big source of Kai's doubt. It's like you spurned my twin. Like, is it worth following this path if we're gonna have to hurt the people we love?
Right. So you've been loyal to Lor all this time, so what are you getting from him other than magical training?
I think it's like quite a big sense of purpose. And like I was just like picked up off the streets, and I could be someone. I could change the world. I can protect everyone from demons. you know, like I'm special. That kind of like ego inflation.
Have demons ever done anything to you personally? Because they've been bound, right, for many years, and so, like, what do you hold against them effectively?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything other than like Magister Lor's teachings that they're evil beings that must be sealed away.
Nice. So, Lor, you see the twin sister of your apprentice stepping towards you. She's already released a demon, these demons that you are sworn to keep bound. What are you inclined to do?
I say, supplicant Tuvari, which is addressing Kai. What does the credo of hospitality dictate we offer guests who do not raise arms against us upon arriving at our door?
Is this really the time?
These are guests. They have arrived at our door. And then I look just right at the demon and I say, do you raise arms against us now?
You ask this of me, you who kept me bound for decades?
Oh, forgive me. I forget the time distortion. It has been millennia. 4,373 years.
Kel,
If
you see what he has done to me. You see what a monster he is for keeping me bound? Millennia! How is this justice? How is this fair?
It isn't fair. For you've done no wrong. You are just you.
Kel, you mustn't listen to them. They're evil.
Are they really evil? Or are you just listening to the lies that you've been told your whole life? What proof is there that these creatures are evil?
I've heard the stories of the destruction they've wrought.
They are just stories.
I ask you again, you have been cooped up.
By who? Who kept me cooped? You and your ilk?
Indeed, but if you wish to have this conflict now, we can have it. I would prefer that we have a conversation first.
By your count, there have been millennia for us to have had conversation, and I did not see you make the first move to bring that to bear. It took this brave young woman to even open the door. So how would you expect me to trust you, Strelai?
There's not a question of trust. You know that whenever the conflict begins, you will seek to destroy me. I will seek to imprison you. Our apprentices will seek their respective destiny. Either one will destroy the other, each will destroy the other, or they will come to some sort of an accord. We know that this is what will happen. Whether it happens now or an hour from now, after we have had some tea, matters very little in the grand scheme of things. Surely you would like to hear, to be regaled with tales of those in the wild blue who worship the memory of you.
I do not wish to waste any time on stories, Strelai. My allegiance is to my sisters, who, as I recall, are also bound by your and your order's hand. Tell me, young Tuvari, young Kai Tuvari, is it fair, is it just that my kind have been bound? Do you wish to perpetuate this injustice?
Well, what would you do with your freedom?
I would merely be free, as all beings should be.
But surely that freedom would harm others. That is why you are kept here.
Does your freedom harm others? Does your sister's freedom harm others?
I don't think so.
Then why would you assume that my freedom is inherently destructive?
Because that's what demons do.
Oh, your education has been faulty, young apprentice. Strelai, why were we bound? Do you even know?
Oh, I know. You were bound as an act of mercy. We could not find it in our hearts to destroy you. And truth be told, none of us knows. I know not, and have over these centuries become the repository of what wisdom remains as my brothers have succumbed and burned away. We do not know if destroying you would destroy us as well and the world along with it. It is not a risk that we're prepared to take. So we maintain the balance by keeping you alive, but in a place where your predilections will not lay waste to the world that these creatures have built. It became clear when you threw the world into the sky in a fit of pique that we had to help you help yourselves.
Oh, your words are lovely and such a beautiful fairy tale, helping us who cannot help ourselves. You are the monsters.
I would quibble with your inflection. It is not that you cannot help yourselves. It is that you cannot help yourself.
As this discussion has been happening, Kai and Kel, you hear a singing almost in the background. Not quite in the background, though. It's almost in your head. And there is a slight shift in the Magister's sanctum, as if maybe it's been bumped or jostled from outside. Not significant, not like you're under attack, but there is a definite shift, and something feels different. Kel, you feel this shift, and there is a sense of rightness to it, like something is happening. The revolution is beginning, essentially. Kai, when you feel this shift, it is a shift of disorder and imbalance. Kai, how do you react to this?
I think Kai is incredibly confused as to what's going on. So it's going to look to the Magister to explain what's happening. You're like, Magister, what is this? The balance is off. What's happening?
So kind of as a stepping out of character for a second,
yep.
As a player, I know that one of the things that's happening is that there's a Leviathan that's coming up. Is this what's happening right now? Or is this just a more metaphysical kind of things are out of whack?
This is, you are increasingly concerned that perhaps Setarra is just toying and biding time.
Sure.
Because her goal is to summon the Leviathans, right? And summon them with her song.
Got it.
And there is definitely the sense that, like, though it hasn't happened, that you're not, like, the Leviathans are not here. It's not quite to that level, but there is a sense that, like, the ball is beginning to roll.
Okay. I cock my head, and there's like a little flick of my wrist, and like the wind kind of swirls and changes and carries the noise much more audibly, kind of like across our ears, so that we can all hear that that the demon has somehow been singing while she's been talking to us, which I think probably like wasn't readily apparent, or certainly I think I kind of like the idea that even Magister Lor is only just now tweaking to the fact that she was singing from the moment she stepped out of the prison, but talking to us and all this kind of stuff and everything, right. Whatever happening on a different register. And so I cock my head and I say to my apprentice, sorry, names. Nope, last name.
Tavari.
Supplicant Tavari, what does the Credo of Hospitality say when those who arrive at our door raise arms against us? And then, staff comes up, and bam, I bang it against the, just against the floor, against the surface of the stone, and there's it explodes into, I think glowing pure white light, now that I'm doing this, you can see there's light glowing behind the bandages, my skin is all lit up and stuff, up my arms and everything. And I am just gonna step in and kind of do this maneuver where I kind of step in, spin around, and just like hold my staff at the end and just sweep it around, catch the demon in the chest, and it's got like tentacles coming out of it and stuff like this, right? So like whatever, like hook the staff kind of up like under some of the tentacles and just lift and pitch it. And then as I do, I kind of twirl my staff and do one of these to like indicate that I'm like giving a force push with it. And I'm just trying to slam it like right back into the crystal, like that.
Nice. Well, that sounds to me like we're headed to dice. So
I
think we should do that. So this is not an easy maneuver.
Nope.
1, because you are fighting a demon. 2, because you are not well. And 3, because there are 2 young people who are very likely to get harmed by this. So this would be a difficulty of 5 for you to pull off. So how would you like to approach it? You get 1 die for trying. In which column will you be using?
I'm going to use my this is my warrior column here for sure.
Nice. Okay. So 1 for trying, 1 for warrior.
Yep.
And then how do the rest of those tags apply?
I think so I get mastery, right?
Yep. So that gives you 2 more. So you're up to 4.
Up to 4. And then I can pick, and then I think this is a maneuver is what's going on.
Okay.
I'm like I'm not trying to bust her head. I'm not trying to protect somebody. I'm trying to throw her back into her prison so that I can set her up to then bind her again.
Nice. So that is 5. And then are you using, I'm assuming this is with your blade, so you would get an additional 2 for that, correct?
Oh, okay. Yes. Yep.
Great.
Oh, I get to pick both of those. Sorry. 1 tag. Yep. I misread 1 tag per roll as one of any of those.
Yeah, no, those are two separate boxes. So 2 separate
cool.
boxes.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Cool. So that's 7 dice. And then you also have a pool of 4 dice. So you can use any number of additional dice from that if you would like.
So let me ask a question. I have the secret of Master and Apprentice.
Yes.
So assuming that as I do this, Kai steps in and starts the fight, we would both get +1 die. Is that a thing that could apply here?
Is Kai ready to fight, I guess, is the bigger question.
I was thinking...
Are you right in motion as soon as I am?
I was thinking because Kel was standing in between you two at the time.
Right.
Kai was, like, as soon as Kai saw the Magister go into action, Kai wanted to get Kel out of the way of, like, the combat.
Okay.
So if that counts as, like, attunement, then...
Yeah, I would say that that does. I mean, part of the concern here is that you're trying to attack the demon and not attack Kel, right? So I would say you are able to help, so that would give the Magister another die. Yep. And then we'll figure out how Kel responds to that in a little bit, because I don't know whether she will want to be dragged out of the way. But for the Magister's roll, we'll say that that additional die applies. So you're up to 8, and then are you using any pool?
I'm going to spend 2 from my pool to bump me up to 10 because I need 5. That gives me a 50-50 shot. So we'll see what we got here. Okay.
So put 10 in the box in front of the DH and hit submit. And we'll see what we get.
DH?
Yeah, if you don't see it, make sure funky dice are turned on. It's a little checkbox underneath the black and red safety tools.
Funky dice. There we go. Boom. Ah, here we go. All right, cool. Okay. So DH. 10 of those. Boom. Then submit.
Ooh.
Oh, that's not great.
Ooh.
That's not good at all.
That is not good at all.
So that means I lose the pool dice or I get them back?
Nope, you get the pool dice and you get 1 extra one. Yep.
Okay. All right.
But you very clearly do not knock the demon away.
I'm rusty.
I mean, yeah, I don't think you've ever fought a demon before, if I remember correctly, or if you have, it was very, 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 very long ago. So I think I'm curious actually to hear, since Kel is the one who's sort of in the middle of all of this, what happens to you as the Magister tries to pull off this maneuver?
Oh, good question. I kind of like, because like I love the way how Jim framed it. He sort of like ignored Kel whilst doing it. So I kind of like the idea that Kel tries desperately to get in the way, but it's like she can't quite maneuver herself to get between like the staff and the tentacles. Everything's a bit too like wriggly and like a bit too quick. So like she's trying to like get in the way of the staff, but the staff like manages to sort of like maneuver around her, which makes her very frustrated because she's trying so hard to help, but she's still so ineffective. Which I think potentially then like comes out verbally as Kai tries to like pull her out of the way. She just like sort of starts ejaculating a lot of like no, I need to help, like get off me, like I need to save my master kind of thing. And she's like sort of digging her heels into the rock, like scrabbling backwards.
Nice. So do you imagine you get hit by this staff at all? Are you like what kind of physical impacts are there to you?
Yeah, I like to think there's a glancing. Like I kind of dig that like if Kai hadn't tried to get in the way, Kel would have been fine. But it's sort of like with this a lot of like bodies going on. Yeah. Like so, Kai accidentally hurt me.
So Kai, you try to save your sister and pull her out of the way, and instead she gets hit, and it's your fault. How do you feel about that?
Fucking terrible. Oh God. What have I done? That sums it up.
Cool. So Kel gets hit. She stumbles out of the way, and Setarra wraps her tentacles around Lor, but doesn't appear to be actually trying to harm you, is just holding you in place. You still have you effectively have your blade, your staff, up against her, but she has wrapped her tentacles around your arm, and so you aren't able to apply any pressure. And she also, though, isn't like pushing back against you or very clearly trying to injure you. But you are bound. You are held in place and unable to move. Kai, your master is very clearly in trouble. Your sister has been injured by your hand, and there is a demon whose song continues to hum through your head. What is your next move?
First things first is, I know some medicine, so how bad is this wound?
On your sister?
Yeah.
It's not super serious. She's not bleeding, she's not like concussed or anything, but it was enough to cause a bruise for sure. Not enough that she needs immediate medical attention, I'll say.
Right. Well, I guess I better go save my master then. So I've got the secret of the light, which is like,
tell us about that.
Creatures of the darkness suffer terrible agony when they touch you. So I figure Kai's gonna run up to one of the tentacles, holding on to like the Magister, and just like leap on it. It's like full on bear hug.
Cool, I love that. So you just rush into the fray. So maybe actually when you push your sister out of the way and she gets hurt, you are just like there essentially to like bear hug Setarra. Does that sound about right?
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay. Kel, the first thing you notice is the dripping sensation on your shoulder. When you reach over to feel it, there is blood on your hands. The next thing you notice is how quiet everything is. And then you realize why. It's because Setarra's scream is echoing through your whole body and effectively shut down your ears or maybe burst an eardrum. And you start to like come back to your senses and start to actually realize what's happening. And the person you have just freed is writhing in pain because of your sister.
Oh my god. Ooh. Oh man, I don't know what to do.
We'll pause here for just a second because I have a different question for you. When was the first time you heard the voice of Setarra?
I think the first time I heard the voice of Setarra was when I was quite young. Lor had just decided to train my sister over me. So I'm lying in our shared bedroom, but my sister's bed is empty because she's out training, and it's sort of like dark. There's like a sliver of moonlight that comes in through the window. It's kind of hard to sleep. But then the moon starts to get like a red tinge to it, which feels like really comforting. And then I drift off to sleep. And that's when she spoke to me.
And did she?
Oh yeah.
What did she say?
I think at the time I was feeling really alone and abandoned. And I think she didn't say a lot, but what she did say really spoke to me. And I think her words were, "Child, you are not alone. And you are not weak. And you have worth."
Nice. Good. I think actually what I want to do is take a short pause here, take like 5 minutes. And then when we come back, I'm going to award XP and you guys can think of what you want to do. And then with that, and then we will resume. Sound good?
Cool.
Great. Welcome back, everyone. So I'm just going to go through and award XP first. So Magister Lor, I believe you hit all 3 of your keys. And you maybe even hit Key of the Mentor twice since you were in the middle of danger while doing so. So that would be 4 XP for you. Kai, you definitely hit the Key of the Twin as you were trying to save Kel. And I would say you also hit the Key of the Demon, having just rushed in to try to hold on to Setarra. So that would be at least 2. You maybe also hit Key of the Apprentice. I'm not totally sure. You let me know if you think you hit that key or were trying to hit that key.
I was kind of trying to hit it with the tandem luck.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So that would be 3 for you then. And Kel, I think you hit Key of the Twin just in your initial confrontation, and perhaps Key of the Demonic Oath just for freeing Setarra right off the bat. Do you feel like you hit Key of the Outcast at all, or were you aiming for that?
I was kind of with jumping in front of Setarra and Lor, assuming that Lor was gonna try and hurt us.
Okay, cool. So that would be 3 for you as well then. Awesome.
Awesome.
So Setarra is screaming. This is echoing deep within all of your bodies, actually, but seems to be impacting Kel perhaps most of all. Kai, you have this secret of the light, and with it you can not just hurt creatures of darkness, but you can actually send them away if you really want to push hard against that. What is your goal with Setarra? Are you more concerned about trying to get her bound, or are you interested in trying to get her bound, or are you more interested in trying to keep her from injuring Kel and Lor?
I feel like at the moment there's less of a focus on the duty of fighting the demons and more on trying to de-escalate the situation and figure out what's going on and what should be done. So just trying to drive Setarra off for a bit.
Okay, cool. So if you want to use that, you can attempt to use your attuned trait to try to get her to flee or get her to kind of be pushed away. So if you want to do that, you're more than welcome to make that roll.
Yeah, why not? I love me some dice.
Do it. Cool. So you would get 1 die for trying and 1 die for attuned. The difficulty of this is going to be 3. She's in a particular amount of pain right now, and it would behoove her to just get away from this. So the difficulty is 3.
Sweet ass. I think from the dots list, what are they called? Tags.
Yep, those are your tags.
I really want to use willpower.
Okay.
Just really willing the demon to go away through this bear hug.
Nice. So that gets you up to 4. Is there anything else there that you would feel particularly applies? Is there anything that you have learned about demons, perhaps, in your training that would help you know how to get her to flee?
That is a good question. maybe there's like a secret weak spot of all demons that if you like poke at with like an essence infused finger, they'll just like run away screaming.
Nice. Okay. So okay. So these demons are connected to the depths and the space itself. And they function a lot like sea creatures, actually. And Setarra has a ring of gills, or that run kind of along her neck. And if you jab her there, it would make her, it would be particularly painful.
Nice. Okay. I like it.
So that gets you up to 5. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and difficulty of 3.
Yeah, that's around 50-50. Let's give it a shot.
Okay. Do you want to throw in any pool dice? You have, I believe you have 6 pool dice, so you could throw in any extras if you want to.
I'll throw in 1.
Okay.
Keep it interesting.
Okay. I will clear out the room, and then you can roll your dice. So you're looking for 3 hits. Ooh. Ouch.
It is 2. But I have the secret of Essence Blood, which is once per refresh, I can re-roll the dice that I've missed.
Nice. Yes, do it.
So I'll roll 4 more and see what happens. I think that's 6 successes total.
Did you get it? I'm not seeing it on my screen, but maybe I just need to refresh. Nice.
Right.
Okay. So, okay. So you are attempting to kind of push her away and get her off of you and get her off of the Magister and keep her away from Kel. And as you begin this kind of like display of just sheer willpower and energy, you feel the essence kind of burning within you. How does that present itself? Like, what does that look like on screen here?
I feel like as like this radiant energy comes off of Kai, it's like all focused into the burn mark on her hand that you got as a child, as she like reaches inside these gills to like just shove a hand in the gears that is like her connection to the depths.
Nice. Cool. So this like electric white hot energy is kind of just radiating off of your arm, and you go and just kind of stick your arm and stick your hand up against her gills, and she collapses, like just falls backwards. Tentacles writhing all over the place. There's still a scream and a shatter, but that song that you heard stops for just a moment, and there's stillness. And you feel the sanctum shift again. And in this instance, it shifts back. And Setarra hisses just this poison, angry, vengeful sound exploding from her mouth. And she begins sweeping and swaying, and she sort of slides herself up the stairs. And she has extracted herself from the chambers that you guys are in right now. She's clearly still in the sanctum. There's no way that she would have gotten out, but she is running. and running away from you. Lor, this is a big problem. The further she is from the crystal, the harder it's going to be to rebind her. What is your next move, Lor?
As she like flees, and like kind of like just as like that last like sliming, writhing, black tentacle is sort of like slithering its way through the door away from us, moving much more quickly than it looks like it should be able to, kind of thing. I kind of sweep my staff back and point it in the direction of where that the because she like shattered. You said she like shattered the crystal out when she stepped out of it.
Yeah.
So I like reach down and I make a sweeping motion, and kind of wind swirls up and gathers up just like a confetti of those crystal shards, and sprays it in a blast like a shotgun after her.
Oh, nice.
To try and embed little hunks of it into her, which means I will, she can't hide from me while she's got those embedded in her.
Perfect. I love it. Okay. So, yeah, that's such an awesome visual. So just this cloud of crystals swept up off the ground, and then just they sort of pause in midair for a second, and then all shoot right at her. And as she slips up the last step, these essentially flying daggers become embedded in her skin, and she screams again and continues to slip away. Kel, this monster just attacked one of the only people who cares about you. What do you do against Lor?
Oh man, I was gonna try and do some cool force magic stuff to counter it, but it's not gonna work anymore.
Did you wanted to stop some of the shards?
Yeah.
We can retcon it. That's fine. I'm cool with it. Are you cool with that, Jim?
Yeah, totally fine. Yeah, please. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Well,
cool.
and because we haven't really had a chance to do the players rolling against each other thing yet either. So
sure. Yeah. Okay. I like it. Okay. So how are you thinking you would try to stop this, Cal?
Yeah. I kind of dug the visual of as Lor is shotgunning these things out, you have Cal playing with the whole balance and opposing force thing, just trying to rat them back at her, kind of just completely changing the direction, and would willingly let some of the shards be embedded in her to try and free Setarra.
Nice. Cool. Okay. So so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this at a difficulty of 4. And essentially each of you are going to build up a die pool, and then we'll see what happens. So if one of you succeeds, then whatever your desired result is what happens. And it follows the normal pool dice rules. So if you win, you lose the dice. If you lose, then you get your dice back. If both of you fail, or if both of you succeed, then I get to do something crazy. So
yay.
Let's see what happens.
I'm down with the cray.
Okay. So let's start with Kel. How are you wanting to build up your die pool? What are you going to use?
Yeah, I think I'll go with attuned.
Okay. Yep. Seems like the best move.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get 1 for trying, 1 for attune.
And arcane sight, is that kind of I don't know.
It's whatever you think it is. So you tell me what it is and how it would apply.
So I kind of dig oh god damn it! I'm such a freaking Terry Pratchett fan. I kind of like that the magic achievement stuff in this place like gives off color, or like, he can sort of see trails and traces of it. And so I kind of like the idea of Cal can see the trajectory of these shards and will try and like use that to like refract them back at her, kind of like, you know, like, I don't know, like to try and shift the trajectory of this essence away from
cool. So like there's on the screen this thing like through Kel's eyes where like the shards are just about to start moving, and then the screen sort of like freezes and we see the trail where they would go, right? And you are totally. And then there's like some sort of action where you are like bending those maybe and like shift, we see the trajectory like start to move.
Yeah, totally. Cool. That's exactly what I had in mind.
that is a very good use of Arcane Sight. I am into it. So you get 2 dice for that. So you have 4 so far. And then is there anything else that you are using within those tags?
I can't. Maybe I like nullify, like sort of getting a shot of like the shards that are like coming to a stop and then like falling out of the sky, kind of like.
Nice. Yeah, nullify seems like it applies. Like you are trying to cancel out what Lor is doing, so that feels good. So you get 2 more for that. So you're at 6.
And this feels kind of voidy.
I like the idea that like if all of the magic has color, like when you start to bend them, the color like just starts to dissipate. Like it either goes like white or black, but just like drains out of it, or maybe they all just turn shades of gray, and that's kind of what your void looks like. Does that feel good?
Yeah, void is totally grayscale. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. I love
amazing.
It. Okay, so that gets you up to 7 dice with a difficulty of 4. So Lor, what are you doing?
This is like straight up. This is like sorcery stuff here. So I get my tri die. I get a sorcerer die for 2. I am a master of sorcery. So that right?
Yep. So that gets you up to
gets me to 4. And this is I think this is a push because I'm pushing these crystals at her. I don't know. I don't think rituals applies because this is not. We're not taking any time or anything. This is just like a fighty fight thing going on right now.
Yeah.
And we're so that puts me to 1, 2, 4, 5 dice.
Yep.
I'll spend 3 pool dice to get me to an 8.
You still have another little block within there, so you could either be treating this as attack, defend,
shoot, that's
control,
right.
or sense. So you get 1 more for that.
Thing where I'm looking at it as like either or. This is totally this is I'm attacking her.
Yeah.
I think with this. So
So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dice, and you're throwing in how many of your pool?
I've got 5 in my pool right now. So actually, since I've got 6, I'll throw in 2.
Okay, cool. So is that 7 versus 8? Is that what we got?
I've got 8. Yeah.
Yep.
Can I whack in some of my pool as well?
You can. Please do. How many?
I'm gonna put in 3.
Okay. Nice. So we got 8 and 10. So and you are both looking for 4 to hit a 4. So, Lor, why don't you roll first, and then we'll have Cal roll. Or you can do different colors if you want. Ooh, so that is 5 from Lor. That looks good.
Awesome. Can I use Secret of Void Blood?
Oh, sure you can. Yes. Let's do that. Do you want to talk about how that works?
Yeah, once per refresh, you can force another character who is visible to you to re-roll all their dice that have hit.
Nice. Okay, so Lor, why don't you click those 5 dice and then hit re-roll? We'll see what you get.
Only if she tells me what that looks like.
Ooh, yeah.
Nice. Definitely. Ooh, okay, so I kind of like with one hand, like Kel has like extended outward to sort of draw these crystal shards back, and then with the other hand, she has it trained on Lor, and I think what we see from like the camera is like the light that emanates from Lor, which is like quite bright and warm as far as I've heard described, like starts to cool, and like you sort of get that sort of more like neon, like sterile white light coming from him, as like his fringes like start to turn grayscale and voidy.
Nice. That's so good. I love it. Okay.
And people want to know why I didn't take her on as an apprentice. Okay, so I'm gonna clear these guys, and and now I've got 5 to try and hit 4.
Yep.
That doesn't look good. Oh no, that's not good. All right, okay.
Oof. Yeah, that's not good. That's only 2. Okay. So Kel, why don't you make your full roll? Yeah, so you're still doing a roll of 10, right?
And I'll just do a different color. So it's a bit easier. I'll go for red.
We can clear those out. You can just clear it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, just go ahead and roll your 10. So we're still looking for 4. Yep. Okay. No problem there. Unless there's anything else that happens here. I don't think so, though, right? I think everyone's got their moves in. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any of those kind of retro abilities.
Yeah.
I'm powerful up front, but I can't mess with the dice after they're rolled. So
yeah, nice. Okay, cool. So let's hear how this like actually ends up looking on the scene then, Cal. So why don't you walk us through? We got the void, we got the bending, we got all that action happening. Like, what is the final result here?
Oh wow. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I think the crystal shards, yeah, totally start to like change course, and as they do, it's like they too sort of start to grayscale and like sort of go from this like shining, brilliant amber to like a more of a dulled, like I don't know, dull color. And then as I love this image so much, like. And then with the other hand trained on Lor, it's like Kel slowly like closes her fist. And I think there's like a moment where the like Lor just turns completely grayscale. Don't know what that feels like. I'll leave that up to you. And then the crystal shards, like you get the tick, 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 tick of like these shards that are like hitting stone. And then sort of like Kel lets go, and then I think the world kind of like snaps back into its like usual colored self.
Nice. So I want to hear how Lor feels about this, but you're definitely going to take the condition drained, Lor.
Just give me a quick sec to mark that.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, and Kel does that, and like my staff just drops out of my hands, and I look down at my hands, and like none of the glow is coming out or anything like this, and I like tremblingly like unwrap a little bit of my palm and look at it, and it's like just pink skin. And I just stare at it for a moment. And I sigh. And then shake my head like, nope, this is not something I can have. And I wrap it back up. And I say, Kai, if she is allowed to escape, all of the blue will fade to gray. I know that you love your sister, but I cannot stop her right now. Only you can. Do your duty.
Nice.
But why? Please tell me. Why do we need to do this? Why must the blue stay blue?
Okay, so, I say, and I kind of hold up a hand, and I say, name the lands which were lost, and this is a ritual. Like this is a thing where I have taught you the names of all of the nations that were destroyed when the world was blown up and lifted up into the sky. And like when you're performing menial tasks, you recite the names of those nations because we're the only people that remember them anymore. And I don't want them to be forgotten because everybody's gotten used to this being the way the world is, but this is not the way the world is supposed to be. And so, so I say, recite those names.
But neither of us saw what happened. How do we... I just need proof, okay? I've already hurt my sister trying to help you.
So while this is happening, I'm curious as to what Kel is doing. Like there is this weird exchange of ritual, and you drain some energy out of this monster who attacked one of, maybe the only, I don't know, thing that you love in the world. And still, Setarra flees. Do you stay and engage in this? Are you going to help Setarra free her sisters? What do you do?
Ooh, good question. I think oh man, I'm stuck like between what the character would do and what the player would do. Because like as a player, I'm like, I really want some more cool scenes with Jesse where we're demons, but then
do what the character would do.
Yeah. I think the character would sort of, I think like be that kind of loyal foot soldiery kind of type, and would hang around with Kai and Lor just to like to manage the situation, because like Setarra, she's like strong enough to, she knows what she's doing. Like she can take care of herself even though she's a little bit injured.
Right. Cool. Okay, so you're there observing this exchange. Kai, how are you feeling right now?
Lost and confused. Like, my sister's trying to feed these demons, and the demons don't seem to be hurting anyone. And then the Magister is trying to hurt them and hurt my sister in the process. And it's like, I just want to know who's good.
Oh, poor Kai. I feel so bad for her. Lor, you are extremely weak right now. You just had maybe one of the scariest things happen to you as you are watching your body drain of its essence and vitality. You've already sent your apprentice on a mission, and she thus far has refused. Is it up to you? Can you convince her?
I guess the I mean, can I roll to get, because I've got this I've got my kind of wise insight track.
Yeah.
And I want to know like what it is I need to say to my apprentice to get them off their ass and moving. Because as a like as a player, I'm not entirely sure what exactly, Alex, what you're looking for like as a player. But I think as the, you know, as someone whose character is smarter than they are, like is this a thing where I could make a roll and to tweak to the thing that would actually get her on her feet and moving?
Yeah, I think, okay, so here's what I want to see. I think what we should do is let's do a little kind of flashback to your early training with her. And I think what we should do is, I'm curious as to like how you connect with one another, like how you relate to one another, how she sees you, how you see her. And so I think let's do this brief moment where we're flashing back. There's no urgent demons. Like, let's just see how that relationship emerges. Does that seem fair? Does that seem okay?
I'm good with that.
Okay. So let's say the setup of this is you are, let's do this. Let's do, Kai, you have been concerned about your sister. You haven't seen her now for a few months. She has gone off to do whatever it is that she was wont to do, and you feel particularly alone in the sanctum, a place you maybe hardly ever get a chance to leave. And you see Lor, and Lor is there, the only person who you have a connection with at this moment. How do you seek comfort from him? Or Lor, if you have thoughts about how you might approach her, we can go that direction too.
Every day we have to perform a ritual. Because this power that is inside me that is burning me up, that's in her too. And together there's a basically it's essentially we both have chronic pain. We're living with what essentially amounts to a chronic medical condition. And I've had a lifetime of how to deal with it and techniques for mitigating it and getting on with my day while it's happening and stuff like that. But as we unlock her sorcery, with it comes changes to her body and pain and perception and all this kind of stuff and everything. And like my role is to put brakes on that, is to like, because if she wanted to, like, you know, I could hand her some of the like memory crystals that I have and stuff like that, and she could you know, absorb them and tune into them and listen to the harmonics and stuff like that, and she could be just like blowing shit up within weeks. But like she would go nova and like just burn out. So the whole point of this is like and I think I kind of love the idea that like the whole point of this is like my entire job is to tamp her down. And I would love to know like what mixture of like, it's nice that there's relief from the pain, but also like like we're moving at like this incredibly slow, like very sort of regimented progress in your powers. And it's kind of like I kind of love the idea that it's sort of the opposite of like Luke and Yoda, where Luke is like, I can't do it, I can't what, you know, and Yoda's, you know, and I'm going like, no, we are not going to lift an X-wing today. We're just going to start with a rock, okay? And eventually we'll work our way up to that. But I can do it now. No. And that like our relationship kind of works like that.
Cool, I love that.
And if Alex, if any of that I said contradicts your ideas for Kai, please, you know, tweak it or add whatever you want.
No, I'm all good with that. I like the idea of like the daily training being like picking up smaller and smaller pebbles. It's like you start one day with a boulder, and then like next day, like a rock the size of your fist. Like day 1008, it's just like a tiny marble.
Nice. I think during all of that training and time, Kai, you've been seeing the gradual deterioration of Lor. What kind of thing do you do every day? Like how there's a medicine that you administer to Lor or some sort of curative thing that you do. What is that? Like how do you take care of him, and how do you help him feel okay?
Oh man, I think it's totally like a sensory deprivation tank. It's like we've got this like vat of water that he lies in, and I just like hurl a lid on top of it, and it's like floats in the darkness, like letting the energy diffuse into the water. Like every day I have to like scoop it all out and like throw it over the side and draw more.
Nice. I like if the tank has like a portal or a glass front or something on it. And I like the scene of you sort of just sitting there watching him to make sure that he is okay and that he's not like drowning or supernovaing or like you can just see him. I just imagine a scene of that, like a quiet, caring, thoughtful scene of observation and concern. Does that feel right?
Yeah, I dig it.
Nice.
I love the idea that there's a portion of the day where I'm completely helpless and completely at her mercy if she wants to do something to me. That's fantastic.
Okay, so with that little bit of background, knowing, Kai, that you have been taking care of Lor for likely years now, would be my guess. Lor is struggling, is collapsed on the floor. You're seeing the color drain from him, something you've never seen before. And as you watch him, you know that this is what you have to resign yourself to. This will be you. And he is asking you for help. He is pleading with you to stop this thing that could very well take the power away from you one day. A power that you feel burning within you that is akin to your own life. So now I ask, what do you do?
Man, nothing is clearer than before. Everything just got murkier. Oh my goodness. I have no idea. I think I want to ask the Magister, like seeing him being drained of this radiance and like seeing his hand being fine, ask, why must we stop this?
And I say, and I just look up and I say, think of the orrery, and at the top level of the tower, like the dome that's up at the top of the tower there, I have a like a huge sorceress orrery that has floating, like depictions of all the big islands and the worlds and stuff like that, with a glowing sphere of essence in the middle, and they all float around, and they're like, and the whole thing is lit blue, and and the worlds are green, and there's like red dots, and like flames coming out where the mines are and stuff like this, and little twinkling lights of the ships moving back and forth between there. And I say, think of the orrery. Think of the orrery. Now imagine the lights going out one by one. All those worlds, all of those people. They almost destroyed it all once. They will again if we do not stop them. Your sister is not evil. She is a victim. She has been used by that thing. It took what it saw, what I saw inside her, what is there, what would have destroyed you if she had stayed. Look at your arm. How long do you think you will be able to be with her before that scar is something much worse?
But she helped you now.
No, she didn't. This isn't. She did not help me. She tempted me. That's what demons do. They make you an offer that you cannot refuse, but you must. That is the definition of evil. Forcing someone to a choice where the thing that is right destroys them. The thing that is right destroys me. But I love my life's work more than I love my life. And my life's work will end my life as it will yours if you accept it. But it is true. If you walk away, take your sister's hand, you will enjoy some time in each other's company. And perhaps you will even come to rule the entire of the blue if that's what you want. But it will be fleeting. And when it falls, the regret that you feel will overwhelm any fleeting joy that comes from embracing this.
So you tell me evil is a choice forced upon you, and then tell me I must choose good.
It's not good. It's not evil. I don't tell you that you must choose anything, but Strella spoke her piece, and I let her. But now I feel it is only fair that I be allowed to speak mine. She and I were halves of a coin. Did you want to chime in, Lauren?
Sister, Magister Lor has done nothing but talk your whole life and the time that I knew him. And he has a lot of fancy words and talks a lot about choice. And yet, he is full of himself. He doesn't know what he is talking about. He is not strong. He is not wise. He is not concerned with balance. He is a coward. He claims that he could only choose one of us, a choice that neither of us had a say in, because I don't know why. And yet now I'm the problem. I am the victim. If anything, he victimized me first. I'm not a victim. I forged my own path. I'm strong. I easily bested him in a duel of the arcane. This is all nonsense.
The sanctum shifts again. The song of Setarra echoes through the halls now. You cannot see it, but the light in the orrery goes out. And Setarra stands in the upper sanctum, tentacles sweeping, the blue shifting, and you hear the calls of her sisters. What do you do, Kai?
I'll go after her, I guess.
Okay, so you run up the steps to the orrery. Kel, do you follow?
Of course, she's my sister.
Yeah. And Lor, are you staying behind? Can you even walk? Is there enough magic within you to?
I think that I'm gonna let them go because they need to figure this out. Yeah, and what they go. And I'm just gonna kind of you know what I'm gonna do? They go like booking up the stairs after each other. And I kind of pull myself to my knees and then kind of look up, and then kind of like cast a glance down, like over the side into the depths, shake my head, and then just like sit cross-legged on the, like just there on the stone in front of the crystal. And I take my staff and I've got it out like this, and I start tapping it like tap, 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 tap. in like a counter, and like the percussion is like counterpoint to the song.
Nice.
And whatever her kind of like high-pitched wail sound, like, or like keening, what does the song sound like that she's singing?
Yeah, I think a whale sound is pretty close. It's
Okay.
Yeah.
And
so something like
yeah.
like that kind of drony, and yeah.
And I start tapping in counterpoint to it, and I throw my head back, and I start like and uttering these like seagull bird cries that are like cutting through these kind of high-pitched squawks and screeches that are cutting through that like droning, moaning sound that's trying to do it up. And so I'm trying to set up a ritual that will delay the Leviathan coming up to give my apprentice time to confront her and like have that fight happen.
Okay. So I think that is doable. That will happen. The question that I have is, how much will it cost you? What I'd like for you to do is make a roll. And if you can succeed at this, then you will be okay. And if not, then you will likely take at least one more condition.
That seems completely fair to me.
Okay. And the difficulty of this will be 5.
Okay.
So go ahead, and while you're thinking about it, I want to jump back to the twins. Kai, you get there first. You arrive at what are effectively like the main space where you and the Magister spend time. So this is where you do your training. This is where you dine together. This is where you observe the blue, where you discuss the history of the worlds. This is your home. And it is darkness. All lights have been extinguished. There are some elaborate tapestries that hang from the wall that detail important points in the Strelai history and saga. And they're woven in these beautiful, radiant threads. They're gray. They're gray and mute, and they all blend together. You almost don't recognize them, actually, the first time you see them, because they don't look how they should. And you see this creature. She has nearly doubled in size. You can see the strength filling her. It is almost as if she is drawing energy from the sanctum itself, maybe from some of the crystals that power this location. And you feel it from you too. Actually, in your arm, there's a numbness. Normally where you feel that burn and that fire of the essence, there's nothing. And she acknowledges your presence, but without breaking her song. As you step into the room, she merely nods. Kel, when you arrive, you feel strong. You feel hopeful. You feel at peace. And you hear the songs. Kai, what do you do?
think Kai will like sidle around the edge of the room to like where there are some weapons hanging on the wall that we use for our daily training, and pull off like her old favorite sword and say to Setarra, I have to stop you.
Cal, how do you respond to this?
So Kel sees Kai go for the weapon. And she gets really quiet. And I think like maybe she doesn't step like directly in front of Kai and Setarra, but like just enough where Kai can probably assume that Kel will get in the way. She's unarmed, like she stares at Kai empty-handed and says, "Sister, what are you doing?"
You heard what the Magister said. She's going to destroy the rest of the planets. She's going to kill people.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. Why do you trust his words when he's just filled with lies?
He doesn't know what he's talking about? What about you? You don't know anything. You know nothing, same as me.
Oh. I know. For years, Setarra has shown me visions of the future that she wishes to affect. She's visited my dreams almost nightly. And I know that what she has planned for this universe is great. Because I think what people don't understand is that the void doesn't erase color. It internalizes it. So all people that embrace the void blood, you become a prism yourself. All that color just becomes refracted inside you, and it's great. And I've had a taste of it, and that's all she wants. She wants to not destroy all of the color in the world and all of the arcane, but to bring it inward.
And Kai will hold up her hand and say, "What about my color? My color is gone."
Cal takes a step forward and offers to like take Kai's hand.
Yeah, totally. Go for it.
She'll take Kai's hand and put it over hers. And ooh, can I do something cool? I think she'll say, Setarra looks out for her people, and she looks out for those who are loyal to her. And I guarantee you, if you side with us, your future will be bright and filled with color.
So as you say this to her, Cal, you are remembering your visions that Setarra has shown you. And when you touch hands, Kai, you feel these visions just burn into your brain, and you see the world that she wants. And you both come to a realization, which is that in all of these visions, Kel is there, but Kai never is.
So She looks out for her own people. What if I am not one of them? What will happen to me?
Of course you're one of us. We're the same.
But if I don't? What if I say I'm different?
Do you feel different?
Of course. What will happen to me, sister? Do I have a place in this future?
You definitely have a place in this future. You matter more to me more than anything in this whole place. And I would rather sacrifice myself before I would see you injured or worse.
What about everyone else? Everyone on all of these planets? Everyone on these ships in the blue? If they do not side with her, what will happen to them?
I think 'tis best if you don't think about that.
So with that, I want to jump back to Lor. So, Lor, what are you intending to do?
I am intending to I am intending. Oh, you know what I'm intending to do? Let me tell you what I'm intending to do. I'm intending to you know what's even cooler than trying to delay her song is to hijack it and redirect it and call for help for myself.
Yes, that is good. What does that look like? What are you thinking you will do?
So like there's like the song is going down and stuff like that and everything, and it goes like down into the depths and kind of like just like spreads out across the depths. And like if we were to see it like as like sound waves, it would be like, you know, kind of going down and then it sort of hits the depths and then just sort of goes boom. And this is like what is like wherever the Leviathan is or whatever, it's calling to it. But because it's kind of all throughout the depths, those little like those caws that I make, like the bird noises, like as her like call kind of goes out through the depths, when I make that kind of sharp staccato noise, there's like a little spike that comes up out of the depths, and and like we see a, you know, whatever, like a ship and there's like that spike, and whoever's on the wireless on the ship suddenly gets like a, you know, like this, you know, what like a you know, basically a distress beacon from where I'm at. And I'm just sending out a call that's like, hey, any of you that, you know, that have fought the demon cultists, or, you know, or who I've had contact with in my life, some of the grizzled old like Navy captains who, you know, we served together when we were just young men before all this craziness came into my life. Call some of those people to help me out.
Okay, cool. Cool. So I think what I want to do is have you make a roll, and we'll see. You will definitely summon some aid toward you. The question is more like, how much will it impact you? Like how further drained will you be? How incapacitated will you be?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, and how long does it take to get there? How many people show up? Yeah. All that kind of stuff. So yeah, for sure. That's great. So I think this is this is totally sorcery. This is totally a ritual that I'm doing here. So I get my try die, I get my sorcerer die, I get 2 mastery dice. I think control is the kind of the sorcery discipline I'm using. And then the other tag that I'm going to use is pull.
Nice.
In the sense that this is not like a physical pull, but this is like I am pulling aid to me.
You're drawing them to you. Yep.
Yes, I'm drawing them to me. And this, like, you know, my whole tippity tap, like riding on her carrier wave, it's going to take a little while thing, makes it into a ritual, I think. So I got 7 dice that I'm working with right now.
Great. And this is a difficulty of 5.
Okay,
I think you have a couple pool dice left, right? Or actually, all of them, right?
I have all of them. Yeah. So I'm going to spend 3 to get me up to 10 dice here.
Cool.
Try and make my 5. Let's see what we got. Let me hit it. Oh, man. Wow.
Oh,
that's hilarious.
Ouch. Okay. So you will still draw aid. They will still come. Someone will come to your aid. But you are spent. You are going to take the condition incapacitated.
Incapacitated, yeah, that completely makes sense.
Yep. So Kai, while this is happening, while you're having this conversation, and you hear the song, you have this vision in your mind of a dense fog, a dense gray fog. And through it, you see sharp lines of light, of color, like an arrow that's made of rainbow, just slicing through the gray. And this force just sweeps the sanctum. And you feel a brief moment of emptiness and loss. But then you feel a power within you. You feel like all of the training, everything that you've done just fills your body. And where you had been losing color and losing that sense and that vitality in your arm, it all comes rushing back. And your body feels like it's on fire in the best way possible, like you are a phoenix. And this energy actually leaps out of your hand and into the hand of your sister who is holding it. And Kel, you feel this fullness that you have not felt before, as if the void is being filled. And it's like you're drinking from a fire hose, like it is just filling you. And you feel more connected to your sister now than you maybe ever have. And you're telling her not to be concerned about all of these other people. What are they? I will always be here for you. And you hear the lies and the malice in your own voice kind of for the first time. What do you do?
Is this to me, sorry?
This is to you, yes.
Oh, all right, cool. Of the Kais and Kels and...
Yeah.
Oh, that is so interesting. I think there's like a moment of contradiction because she feels like the best she's ever felt in her life. Everything's like going surprisingly well. Like she's connected to her sister. Like they can be together as like a unified force. They don't have to like deal with the fact that Magister Lor separated them and they've been apart for so long. Like this is like all going so well. But then there is that like little niggling thing in the back of her head that's like a bit of a discord where she sort of reflects upon that the malice and lies, but because they're not malice and lies, it's true. This is all truth. I think she like squashes like, and as soon as that thought happens, like she just squashes it out as fast as she possibly can. Just like tampers it down. She takes her sister's hand and like holds it a bit tighter, and she says like, "Can't you like can't you feel that? Like I know you can feel that. This is so right. We should have been together from the start, and I'm so happy." I think she's even crying a little bit. Like, this is the way it's meant to be.
Kai, you feel this power. What is your response to it?
To the power?
Well, yes, to the power that you're feeling, and now to your sister's entreaties, effectively.
The power, it feels like a bit of a relief, like a care package in foreign territory, like in this dark room is finally this like burst of light again. And to my sister, we were meant to be together from the start, but nothing about this feels right. Did you come here planning to kill every other person in the world? Is this really the future you saw?
I don't think everyone has to die. I think whatever sacrifice is necessary for the world Setarra has in mind is worth it. And I trust that she and her sisters will be able to create a magnificent coven of community and planets. And
anyone who opposes will be killed.
Well and right. I'm sorry?
And anyone who opposes her will be killed. You're following a tyrant.
However,
are you doing this because you want to, sister, or are you doing this because you don't have a choice?
No, I want this. I know I want this. I know that I had a choice and I chose this. This wasn't forced upon me.
You believe
and
that?
I think no. But she so desperately wants it to be true. I think she even like sort of like throws a hand behind her, sort of like in the direction vaguely of the Magister Lor, and says like, "You said it yourself. He sealed away these demons for them to suffer an eternity. He essentially killed them. I don't see how his plight is any more pure or just than what I want to do. He's killed all of Setarra and her sisters. Do you really want to subscribe to this patriarchal like society?"
But everything we've ever known, if we have to choose one or the other, then why have you chosen them?
Because they listen to me and they embrace the power that I have and they hold me up. and I'm free.
You're
There's
always
no pressure. But there's no pressure of whatever rules that are laid upon you. I can do what I want. There's no limit to the potential that I can obtain living with Setarra.
Are you still,
And it could
are
be
the
the
two,
same for you.
sorry, are the two of you still holding hands?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. The fullness that you feel within you, Kel, is being drawn out of you, but not by your sister. It's flowing into Setarra, and you feel it being siphoned away from you. And you see Setarra glowing blackness. Like she has a glow on her, but it's a void. It's an emptiness. It's a complete lack of anything. Like a black hole. All of this fullness and connection you feel to your sister is being drawn away, and you feel it fueling Setarra and transforming into song in your mind. And you hear the songs of her sisters, and you see them. You actually can see them now around you, like not in the physical space, but you feel the draw of them, like they're shadows around the room. And then you feel the burn of your sister's hand. Kai, you can tell that your sister is hurting. That you are hurting her, that something is hurting her. What do you do?
I'll immediately pull my hand away and say, "Time's up, sister. I can't live in your world, but you can live in mine."
Why would I want to live in your world where I've been rejected and abandoned? Honestly, tell me why.
Because you can still be free.
What does freedom look like in your world?
It looks like the people of the blue not having to live in fear of this tyrant.
But I do not live in fear of Setarra. What I do fear.
Maybe you should.
Why? What do you see that I do not see?
Do you not see what's happening? Is he draining the life out of us? I see her changing you.
I have not changed. I've only grown.
Then hug me, sister.
Oh God! I think I'm losing angsty chicken. Oh my God, that is a
Sorry,
really good
what was
offer.
that?
So I need to think. I said that's a really good offer.
I love that there's this vision of like Setarra has her hands out, and she's like drawing these like creatures, these tentacled beasts from the blue, and sort of counterposed against that, we see Kai with her arms outstretched, ready to embrace you, Cal.
Yeah, totally. Oh God, why does this hurt so much? I think what happens? I think Cal looks at Kai's outstretched arms, and I think she does take a step forward. I think she knows that it's gonna hurt, but she puts her palms like on either side of her sister's cheek slightly, and it does burn. And I think she is like crying or close to tears at this point. So I think it's clicked that it's like the time they spent apart is like done too much to mean they can ever be together. They're too different. And she says, "Sister."
Do you want to actually? Can you pause for just a second because we just lost Alex?
Oh, I just lost Alex. Good timing, internet.
Also, I'm loving this scene so much.
Okay.
So good.
I always like look forward to opportunities to have sad angst with Alex.
Yes. Fully 100% endorse it.
Yes. She's like so good at like she's really good at putting everyone into difficult situations.
I taught her well, clearly.
Yes, very well.
I love those kind of things where the point of the lessons kind of slowly dawns on you when it's absolutely necessary, is kind of the thing that was happening there, which is so perfect. It was so awesome.
Oh, totally. I was like, Alex has Slack access.
She does.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, does she even know she's dropped out, or?
I would assume she knows.
Oh, okay.
But I'll try to ping her on Slack. Let's see.
She just said testing 1 2 3, so I guess that means she's probably reset the internet.
Oh, got it. Cool.
So
Well, let's give her 2 more minutes to try to connect. Do either of you guys have a hard stop at 8? Are we doing okay? Or at whatever your time is on the hour?
Yeah, I can like go for a bit longer, or like.
Yeah, no, I'm good to go. Yeah.
I think we're pretty close to wrapping. I just want us to have some time to debrief and talk afterwards too.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
No problem.
It sounds like the internet on her laptop went a bit weird. And then now Windows just started updating.
Oh no, that's the worst.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah. All right, she says maybe like 3 minutes.
Okay.
Try
do you guys want to take just like a couple minutes and then we'll regroup once she gets
settled?
Yeah,
that's a great idea.
Yeah,
Cool.
Take 2 or 3 minutes. We'll come back. Okay. Awesome.
Awesome.
I thought I saw Alex for a second.
Yeah, I thought it was Alex.
Did we lose her again?
Hello, I'm back.
Yay! Hooray!
You cut out just at like my dramatic speech.
Yeah.
Just like a sibling. Okay, so we'll give Jim a second to come back, and then we will
Awesome.
maybe wrap this up. We'll see. I don't know. Let's see what happens.
Now I'm like cold feeting, like FOMOing, like, oh, what do I do?
Maybe we need to like alternate ending this and do 2 different scenarios.
Totally.
Alex, is your computer updated now?
It has. It's like my heart just sank. And I was like, I'll try restarting my laptop. And it's like 6% updated.
Hey.
Nice. Hey, Jim. Okay, back to the dramatic speech.
Oh my god. So I don't know, I'll try and recap quickly out, so I'm not quite sure when you dropped out. So I think like, oh fuck. So we have like the swirling tentacles around like backdropping Kel, and then we have like Kai's outstretched arms being like, oh, come on, like then join me, sister. Right.
Yes.
And then I think like there's a really long pregnant pause as like the tentacles are like sort of waving around behind Kel, and she looks at Kai, and I think there's that moment of realization that while they started off life much the same, there was definitely a fork in the path that drove them apart, and she can't sew that back together. Like that is a zipper that is unzipped for good. And she takes a step forward. She places her hands on either side of like Kai's cheeks, and she knows it's gonna hurt, and it does hurt. It's like the pure bright light of Kai like burns her skin. And she says, "Sister, no matter where you are or where I am or what happens, know that I love you, and I will always love you, and I would do anything to see you happy. And it's for that reason that I can't go with you." And then I think she slips away, and you get to like the nice like burn, kind of like throwing back to their childhood, where like she's all not like burn up as well, like on her palms. And then I think you just sort of see her do like the slow like backing away into the shroud of like darkened tentacles.
Cool. Kai, wow. Your sister is stepping away from you. And is making a choice. Are you just going to let her fall away that easily?
I mean, this is what she chose. It's an evil to force someone to choose, so I'll let her do what she wants.
Do you redirect your attention to Setarra? Like, there's still a chance to stop this and maybe save her. Save your sister, that is, rather, from the clutches of Setarra. Are you prepared to take her on?
Yes. Kel chose her path, and I'll choose mine.
Nice. The blade that's in your hands is ablaze in blues and violets and reds and oranges. You feel a connection to it. And you feel from behind you a presence. You don't know how you did it, but those shards that drop to the ground are hovering behind you like a swarm of locusts. And you feel connected to every single one of them. And Setarra stands in front of you. What do you do?
I think I reach out and grab one of the shards, and we see this like rainbow of light shoot out from it as Kai like relives the experience that is like trapped in this fragment. And we see like the original sealer of Setarra and like the arcane rituals he performed, and like him like trapping Setarra in this giant crystal. I think with that imagery fresh in Kai's mind, Kai's gonna unleash this torrent of shards upon Setarra.
Nice. Okay. Let's make that roll happen. And this feels like there's probably a connection between you and Lor still, and you can feel his presence. So, Lor, if you are inclined to chip in a die to this, you can. So I would say this is a difficulty of, well, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to injure her? Are you trying to rebind her? Are you trying to, like, what is your goal with this?
Let's go for rebind.
Okay, cool. So this is channeling the ancient secrets. I don't know if you even know the ritual, but Lor does, and you can feel Lor's presence in those shards and near you. So how would you like to make this roll? This is a difficulty of 5.
And I'm kicking in a pool die, right? Is how
Yep.
that works. And if she makes it, then I lose the pool die. But if she fails, then I get it back.
That's right.
Right? Okay.
So Kai, what do you want to? How are you making this roll?
I think I'll use Sorcerer.
Okay. So 1 for trying, 1 for sorcerer.
And
Are you defending or creating something here?
actually, yeah, I like the imagery of like using create and pull to like pull Setarra into this like massive shards, to, like re-encapsulate her.
Nice. So one thing that you've been observing with Setarra is that her size has changed, right? She is now bigger than she was, which might also mean that she can be smaller than she was when you first saw her. So I like the idea that maybe there's a way that you can reduce her down into a single shard of crystal or a single mass of crystals. Cool. So we got one for trying, one for sorcerer, one for create, one for rituals. This is clearly a ritual, and one for pull. So that gets you 5. And the difficulty is 5.
All right, and then I have one from Magister Lor.
Yep.
One for Lord.
Pool die
Yep,
coming
so
from
that's
me.
6.
Yep.
Are you throwing in any of your own pool die?
Yeah, I have 5 left, I think. Yeah. I've only used 1 so far.
Okay.
But 11 die total.
You're going out in a blaze of glory, all of your pool dice?
Totally.
Nice. Okay. Cool. So the stakes here are not whether you will bind Setarra or not, because you will. The stakes are how much does Kel suffer when this happens?
Goodness gracious.
That's totally fair. That's completely reasonable.
Speak for yourself, Lord.
Okay. So you've got 11 dice. You're looking for 5.
And nothing up my sleeve.
If you get 5, you will free your sister from the bonds of Setarra. If you don't, then we'll see what happens.
Here goes.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wow. Okay. The first thing we see is this cloud of shards pulling together into a single mass. And the mass is the size of a small pendant. So the shards all kind of fuse and merge together. The small kind of pendant crystal is a blazing orange color. So originally the crystals were amber, and now this light is intensified by millions of degrees. It's like a miniature sun. The crystal coalesces. The words are spoken. I imagine this is the name. Something about this ritual connects to the names of the lands that were lost. Maybe you're reciting them backwards. This idea of like the forces, the worlds coming back together.
That's so awesome.
And the sounds of the Leviathans start to fade away and drift off. And Setarra's tentacles drop. And there's a color within her. And the way that she was a void before, now there's a brightness and a lightness to her. And she is kind of like, she was the black hole pulling everything into her, and now this small star is drawing her into itself. First a tentacle, then an arm, and there's no sound from her. Like, all of the sound is gone. The song, her voice is nothing. There is only this blazing intensity of this star filling the space. She gets consumed by the crystal, and it falls into your hand. The shadows slip away. The presence, the leviathans are gone. And Kel, you're standing there. And you feel okay. You feel free, almost. When you look at your sister, how do you know that she loves you?
Why do you ask such good questions? I think this is like up to it going. Oh, I think my internet's also going.
Yeah, you chopped out a little bit there.
I can see this being encapsulated in one of two ways. And I'm happy with either.
Okay.
Either either Kai like crushing the stone or offering me the stone. I think either of those are good displays of love.
Before you said that, my initial thought was that she would offer it to you, but I am open to whatever you think is the right display of affection.
Or hurling the stone away somewhere.
Yeah, I think Kai like offers the stone out to you. Just wordless.
I think Kel takes it and pockets it quietly, and likewise says nothing.
Okay. I have one last question for Magister Lor, which is, how does your training start with your new apprentices?
Oh. I think it starts like this, which is sorry, give me just half a sec because I need to look up a name here. I am what is the what is the Maz Eisley like that nightshade or whatever it is, like that
Nightport. Yeah.
Nightport. You see a guy in like an out of date naval, like a heavy naval peacoat with a like a cap pulled down over his face, but just like in the shadows you can see there's like some bandages wrapped around it and stuff like this, and he's walking with he's got like a staff that is tapping on the cobblestones as he's walking, and this one like little like 8-year-old urchin, like this filthy little boy, like comes up to him and tugs on his sleeve and says, "Please, mister, help me. My mother is sick." And you know, and he leads me down an alley where the gang of toughs that he works for, you know, like walk down, you know, you kind of see like some guys walk down the other end, and there's like the, you know, just the noise of like boom, doof, 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 boom, bam, pow, smack, and I just come walking out of the alley, and the little kid is standing up there, and he's staring at me, and he says, "How did you do that?" And I say, "Would you like to learn?"
Cool. Any other final kind of moments between Kai and Kel in the next phase of their journey?
Did you have any thoughts, Kai?
No. How about you, Kel?
Well, for some reason, funnily enough, also in like a Nightport area, I like the only thing I have in my mind is just like a montage of like Kel's cropped all of her long hair, right? Like it's I like shaved or like really like tight pixie cut. And she's like, all I can see is like you see a figure like stalking through Nightport, maybe like on a steampunky, like not quite Star Wars-esque like hover bike kind of thing, like disembarking from that, and like the pendants sort of like jostling around and stuff as she's like striding, and then like part of her face is hooded, can't quite make out what it is, and then like she goes into like some like shady looking like rebel like establishment and like takes off her hood, and then like you get that shot of like her sort of like skin tone, but it's like, you know, when you flick a paintbrush at a canvas and like you get that nice like splatter effect going on.
Yeah.
It's like there's that splatter effect going on, but it's all like gray across her face. And people feel welcome to fill in the blanks.
Any final thoughts from you, Kai?
I think for Kai's epilogue, we see Kai like wandering the sanctum underneath the house of Magister Lor, and it's like sitting in front of a crystal with like the burnt hand outreached, just like having a one-sided conversation that the like reader, watcher can't hear with the demon inside of it.
Nice. Cool. So we'll leave it on a little bit of a gray ending, a little nebulous. That was so great. Thank you all so much. This has been Magister Lor. Thanks again to my fantastic group of players. And we will see you next time.
Thank you so much, Judith. That was amazing.